surgery. My sister's pre-op is tomorrow. Mine is the next day. So we're going to be vlogging. I'm getting my BBL round 2, lipo 360, ab etching, and arm lipo.
The vibrant 19-year-old you see here, full of dreams and endless possibilities, is Amonique, a 19-year-old who would die in a recovery room just after getting a BBL. She had her whole life ahead of her. Like many young women, she made the decision to undergo a BBL. But what was meant to be a simple cosmetic procedure soon turned into a nightmare that would leave her family devastated. In the mid-hours of March 7, 2025, Miami police would arrive at a recovery home on Southwest 4th Street to find the 19-year-old lying face down on a bed, heavily bandaged and dead, showing signs of rigor mortis. She died in the very place she thought was going to give her a new life, but the questions surrounding her death only grew more haunting with each passing moment. How could something so routine, so widely performed, end in such heartbreak? What went wrong in that sterile recovery room? But before she met her death, let me take you back to where it all started. This is the life and death of Amonique Miller.
Mm-hmm.
28-year-old Amonique Miller, or Scar the Star as she was affectionately known, had a natural gift for music. She spent years building her career, collaborating with prominent producers and male rappers, and making a name for herself in the competitive world of West Coast rap. Despite the struggles of being a woman in a predominantly male industry, she found ways to carve her own path, creating both music and opportunities for herself. But Amonique's story wasn't just one of musical success. She was a devoted mother who wanted nothing more than to provide a stable and secure life for her young daughter. This desire to give her daughter the best life possible pushed her to keep working, hustling, and striving for financial independence. The world saw her as a vibrant, passionate woman on the rise, someone who was destined for greatness. And by the age of 28, Amonique had built a life that many would envy, a life full of promise and potential. Amonique's daughter, her little one, was the apple of her eye. Amonique poured her love, attention, and energy into her child.
I'm sad I gotta leave my stinky though. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Thank you. Mommy will be back. We'll be calling you every day.
Always ensuring that her daughter would have everything she never had. As a single mother, Amonique was no stranger to hard work and sacrifice. She used every ounce of her strength to balance her music career with her responsibilities as a parent. Yet, she was more than a mother, an artist, a woman who believed that there was always more to life beyond the day-to-day struggles. That was until she would make a decision that would ultimately cost her life. It was in early March of 2025 that Amonique and her younger sister, 19-year-old Kiara Barnes, decided to take the next step in their lives. They planned a trip from their home in Las Vegas to Miami, Florida for cosmetic surgery. Amonique had already undergone surgery before and was no stranger to the process.
Yeah, my sister got these cute little sweatsuits from Pink, you know, real BMS vibes, real I see the big chains to throw on like how they was back in the day. You feel me? My sister got the pink one and it's so cute.
This time, she planned to get a second BBL, Brazilian butt lift, liposuction, and some additional body contouring procedures. But she wasn't the only one. Kiara, only 19 years old, was also about to undergo her first surgery. In the weeks leading up to their trip, the sisters documented their journey, sharing their excitement with the world.
So I'm headed to the airport to get my surgery. My sister's pre-op is tomorrow. Mine is the next day. So we're gonna be vlogging. I'm getting my BBL round 2, lipo 360, ab etching, and arm lipo.
From Las Vegas to Miami, they kept their followers updated, posting about their plans and their hopes for the procedures at Avana Plastic Surgery Clinic.
So we finally arrived in Miami. The flight was not long at all. By the time I woke up, we're landing.
Amonique, a woman who was used to being in the spotlight, wanted to share this next chapter of her life with her fans and followers. Little did she know, this would be the last time she would ever speak to the world. The sisters were not only excited about the surgery itself, but they also enjoyed sharing the experience. They kept their followers updated on everything from packing for the trip to the preparations they made once they landed in Miami. They stayed at Kila's Recovery House, located on Southwest 4th Street, a service they found through social media.
We are on our way to the recovery home. It's Kila's Recovery Home. Super excited. So this is me and my sister's room,
where the accommodations seemed to offer everything they needed at an affordable price. However, their decision to save money by choosing a cheaper recovery option would later play a role in the tragedy that was about to unfold. Amonique, a woman who was used to doing things her own way, had chosen to go through with the surgery, confident that she could recover and continue her busy life afterward.
We are on our way to Avon for my sister's pre-op. And I'm a little delusional, but it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. I'm going to make it through this.
But what started as an exciting trip quickly turned into a traumatic event.
I'm here at Avana Plastic Surgery. I'm getting my surgery with Dr. Mamoniskis. I'm getting my BBL round 2. I'm getting HD lipo and arm lipo, and I'm also getting J plasma. I'm super excited. His energy is so well. The office staff is super nice. They made me feel super comfortable. I am just happy that I'm going with Avana, and I know that this is going to be the best. I can't wait to see my results.
A few hours after the surgery, Kiara would post something heartbreaking. Kiara noted that their decision to go with Keela's recovery home for the post-op care was initially a good one. They were promised quality service at an affordable rate, which seemed like a fair deal. However, nothing prepared them for the reality that would hit them. The first sign that something wasn't right was when the girls were not given the proper medications or aftercare that they were promised. Kiara reported that Keela's recovery home failed to pick up Amonique's prescription, and there were serious concerns about the care they were receiving. Kiara shared her frustration about being given medications that had not been prescribed by the surgeon, Dr. Mamoniskis, and how this lack of care may have contributed to her sister's death. In one of the most chilling statements, Kiara revealed that the recovery home gave Amonique Percocet, even though Dr. Mamoniskis had not prescribed it. This was a blatant violation of medical protocols, and Kiara was devastated to learn that this could have contributed to her sister's passing. On the morning of March 7, 2025, Kiara was in her room when she discovered her sister lying in the same position she had been in all day, unresponsive. The trauma of seeing her sister pass away was almost unbearable. Kiara rushed to her sister's side, but it was too late. Amonique was gone. Despite the pain of losing her sister, Kiara maintained her composure and immediately took action, alerting authorities and providing them with the details surrounding her sister's final moments. By the time she was found, Amonique was already dead and showing signs of rigor mortis, an indication she had likely been dead for hours. They described finding her as heavily bandaged face down on a bed. What made the situation even chilling was that authorities say they believed they were operating as an illegal post-plastic surgery recovery home.
According to this Miami police report, officers and fire rescue crews responded to the house the night of March 7th, which they say was operating as an illegal post-plastic surgery recovery home. Inside, they found Amonique already dead and showing signs of rigor mortis, an indication she had likely been dead for hours. They describe her as heavily bandaged, face down on a bed.
The loss was compounded by the conflicting reports that began circulating in the media. During this time, Kiara took every opportunity to share her side of the narrative. Some of the initial reports painted a skewed picture of the events leading up to her sister's passing.
My name is Kiara Barnes. I am the sister of Amonique Miller that passed away March 7th at Keela's recovery house. And I just want to speak out because I'm seeing a lot of blogs, Surgery 411, multiple other blogs. None of them are saying accurate information. Everything they're posting is false. My sister was very healthy. My sister never was ever denied ever a surgery. I seen somebody post Surgery 411 say she was denied by one doctor and then went to Mamoniskis. That never ever was the case.
With claims that Amonique had been denied surgery by another doctor before switching to Dr. Mamoniskis. Kiara was adamant that this was not the case. She set the record straight, explaining that Amonique had always been scheduled with Dr. Mamoniskis from the start, and that her decision to switch doctors was entirely her own. Despite Kiara's efforts to correct the misinformation, the media frenzy continued. Some people blamed Amonique at making risky decisions, while others focused on the surgical procedures themselves, questioning the safety of elective surgery in general. But Kiara knew that it wasn't about pointing fingers at her sister. It was about holding those who had failed her accountable. Amonique's passing occurred suddenly and unexpectedly. She had appeared healthy, and the surgery was supposed to be routine. However, just 2 days into their stay at Keela's recovery home, the unthinkable happened. Amonique passed away while recovering, leaving her sister Kiara to face the unimaginable pain of losing her sister, her best friend, and the person who had always been there for her. The emotional toll on Kiara was overwhelming, but she knew that she needed to keep pushing for justice for her sister. The reality of losing Amonique, someone full of life and potential, was devastating, and the family would never be the same. Kiera's grief was compounded by the growing realization that the system had failed her sister. But Amonique had tried to ensure that her surgery was performed safely. She had documentation, medical records, and had gone through all the necessary steps to prepare. She had even gone as far as documenting her experiences, including sharing videos of her surgery and recovery journey on social media. But despite her efforts, she ended up in a situation where her recovery care was mishandled, leading to her tragic death. The day of the surgery had been one of excitement, but it quickly turned into an unthinkable tragedy. Kiera recalled how anxious she had been while waiting for her sister to finish her surgery. The two sisters had been through so much together, and this surgery was supposed to be a celebration of Amonique's strength, ambition, and resilience. But instead, it ended up as a life-altering tragedy that left their entire family in shock. Kiera continued to share updates on social media, hoping to keep her followers informed and provide them with the truth about what had happened. Kiera's posts served not only as a tribute to her sister, but a warning to others about the dangers of cutting corners when it comes to surgery and aftercare. The family also faced financial strain due to the mishandling of their recovery arrangements. Kiera claimed that they had paid for the full recovery package, but were never reimbursed by Keela's recovery home. Additionally, there were many other inconsistencies in the service they received, which caused them to question the integrity of the recovery facility and the people involved. Amid the grief, Kiera began to take a more active role in raising awareness about the importance of proper aftercare. She encouraged other women considering similar procedures to do thorough research on their recovery options and never compromise their safety for cost savings. The family was left devastated by the loss, and they had no clear answers. What was supposed to be a routine surgery had turned into a nightmare, leaving Kiera, her family, and fans all wondering what went wrong. BBLs, known as Brazilian butt lifts, carry significant risks, with one of the most dangerous being the accidental entry of fat into the bloodstream during the procedure. This can block a vessel in the lungs, leading to a potentially fatal pulmonary embolism, according to the NHS. Beyond the general risks of surgical fat transfer, BBLs also come with specific dangers,
such as severe skin infections like cellulitis and uneven scarring known as contour deformity. A 2017 study highlighted a mortality rate of 1 in 3,000 for BBL procedures. From 2010 to 2022, South Florida recorded 25 deaths linked to BBL fat embolisms. Disturbingly, 14 of these fatalities occurred after the implementation of updated safety guidelines by the Aesthetic Surgery Education and Research Foundation in 2018 and the Florida Board of Medicine's 2019 mandate, which required fat injections to remain strictly within the subcutaneous layer. A study published suggests that factors such as poor clinic working conditions and abnormally short surgical times could be significant contributors to the region's BBL-related mortality rate. As the investigation into Amonique Miller's death continued, her family sought justice. They demanded answers about the circumstances that led to her death, and they began looking into holding those responsible accountable for their actions. As the days passed, Kiera's grief began to give way to a sense of urgency. She realized that in order to honor her sister's legacy, she had to ensure that the truth about Amonique's death reached a wider audience. With the autopsy report still pending, Kiera pushed forward, advocating for other women who might be in similar situations.
First, the response was, she's fine, nothing is wrong. But once they realized that she had passed away, then it wasn't that they treated it like an emergency, but panic started to set in.
To be clear, we don't know yet what exactly caused Amonique's death.
That's correct.
At this time, the medical examiner has not linked any medication to Amonique's death and is still working to determine the cause and manner of death.
She knew that raising awareness about the importance of proper aftercare could prevent another tragedy like the one that had destroyed her family. Meanwhile, the investigation into Amonique Miller's death was ongoing, with local authorities and federal agencies involved. Questions about the treatment she received at Keela's recovery home were central to the case, and Kiera was determined to ensure that the people responsible for her sister's death would be held accountable. The fact that Amonique had been given medications that weren't prescribed to her was a serious violation that couldn't go unnoticed. As the family waited for the official cause of death, Kiera worked tirelessly to uncover what had gone wrong. Her dedication was not only for her sister, but for all those who trusted the system to keep them safe during a vulnerable moment. As Kiera continued to speak out, she started receiving messages from other women who had undergone similar procedures and had faced complications during recovery. Some of them shared their own stories of being given incorrect medications or being left without proper medical attention after their surgeries. It became clear to Kiera that Amanik's story was not an isolated incident. Far too many women were being left vulnerable after elective surgeries, and the system was failing them. Kiera's fight for justice grew louder as she demanded answers not only for her sister, but for all women who had been affected by subpar aftercare. She connected with advocacy groups that worked to ensure safer conditions for women undergoing cosmetic procedures. She said, "We have to change the way this industry works. Women shouldn't have to risk their lives to feel better about themselves." Meanwhile, the family continued to mourn Amanik's death. Her mother, who had been devastated by the loss of her daughter, shared a message online expressing her grief and sorrow.
"My daughter, Amonique, has passed away. She was my firstborn, my ladybug, my whole life. Please allow me the time to process this loss and begin to heal." Amonique was also known as 619 Star and was a talented female rapper. She had been featured in many songs and collaborated with some of the best male rappers and producers out of San Diego. Amonique Miller, aka Big Scar, May 11, 1996 to March 7, 2025, 28 years of shining like a star. Rest peacefully, my baby girl.
Amanik's mother's words reflected the depth of the pain that her family was experiencing. Amanik's passing left a hole in the hearts of everyone who knew her. Her young daughter would grow up without the mother who had cared for her so deeply. Amanik had been a devoted mother, working hard to provide for her daughter and ensure she had everything she needed. Now, that bond would be broken, and the little girl would have to navigate a life without her mother's love and support. The tragic death of Amanik Miller serves as a stark reminder of the risks involved with elective surgeries and the importance of proper aftercare. It also highlights the need for better regulation and oversight in the cosmetic surgery industry. As the family continues to grieve, they ask for prayers and support from their community. The pain of losing Amanik is immeasurable, but through their advocacy, they hope to ensure that her story is heard